Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back again. I kind of just I took some time off to get my senior year done, to graduate, to turn 18, to do all of these things. But enough about that. Today's topic is, why are these old heads in office? So why? Why can they come back even though they're felons? Well, the answer to the second question is that there's nothing actually stopping a felon from being president. There's nothing that stops it in the Constitution. You only have to be like 35 and be a US citizen from birth. Like that's the only thing that constitutes being a president. It says nothing about being a convicted felon. You can have as many felonies under your belt as you want. You can be anybody as long as you are a US citizen from birth and you are 35 years old. I think it's 35. The government can be corrupt, and it takes certain people who know how to speak to the people in charge to run the country. Now, you don't have to be a liar to run the country. You don't have to be a felon to run the country. That's not what that means. But these are the same kinds of people who wrote the annexation, the Treaty of Annexation, which allowed Texas to be part of the Union, and the annexation of Hawaii, which wasn't agreed upon between Hawaii and the United States, yet we still came in, claimed the territory, and killed like half of its population, and then wrote it off as if they agreed to it, when in reality, we killed their queen. We killed Hawaii's queen. It's horrible, but these are the same people that do that kind of thing, that just fill and filibuster. They just filibuster constantly. Like, that is a real thing. They filibuster live on debates, right? And I'm kind of biased because I lean left, but all I'm saying is that both sides are filibustering at this point. It's like, why are these old heads in office who don't know how to articulate themselves? The answer is that they know how to speak to the people in charge. There are things going on behind the scenes in the White House that we do not see, that the media does not see, because the top 1% control the media, and they are paid by these politicians, right? Or they pay politicians to promote certain agendas, and these politicians say certain things, or say and do certain things, and pass certain bills that the media really cannot put out there, because if they did, it would cause worldwide panic from the people who know that it isn't right. But yet, they still seem to keep the country alive. So it's either, the younger generations like mine, or the millennials and whatever it is, Generation Y, right? We're all panicking, and they don't care, because what we're worried about is completely different than what we should be worried about. So obviously, if something's wrong, like a meteor is going to hit the earth, they're not going to tell us, but they still know how to handle that situation better than we do, even without telling us. Like, they might be worried, but I have a feeling that they're worried about different things than we're worried about, if that makes sense. Like, we truly cannot comprehend what we actually need to be worried about here, I don't think, because there's something much bigger at play. And there's a reason why old heads and older people are being reelected, and it's because they know what to do, even if on the outside it looks like they don't. For all we know, outside of the cameras, outside of the media, outside of social media, Donald Trump and Joe Biden could be having a cup of tea together right now, and getting their parties together and saying, hey, how can we make the most pandemonium out of this? And which party is going to win this time? But then eventually transition back into the good old-fashioned values, because it all merges together. Nothing's actually different if you think about it. The drama between politicians is a lot like sports rivalry. and fan base rivalry. It's all schoolgirl drama. Like if you look at it from a perspective that's coming from someone who never watched politics until a couple of years ago, right? Like this is my perspective. See, because I was never like I always heard my mom like exclaiming or yelling about whatever he or she said, but I don't actually understand because they're not saying anything that'll be put into law. They're just kind of showing what their morals are on live television with all these debates. Nothing matters. Like this whole debate doesn't matter to them behind the scenes because they're gonna do something completely different than what they say if the need be. Like all they're trying to do is just get to a position where they can run the country and then they do whatever they want. So that's why it's kind of worrying that we have older people who don't know how to conduct themselves properly in office. So the reason why this is kind of contradicting to not want older people in office versus actually having them in office is because they know how to talk to the people in charge. Because all of them are old. All of them are like above their 40s, right? There are very rarely younger people in office because the government has always been run by old ass people. I'm sorry, it just has. And if we put like someone in their 30s in charge, they're not going to be taken seriously. Like even if we get what we want, like I mean, see, I'm talking to the people that want what I want when I say that. We, as in me and many other people in my generation or like millennials who are just slightly younger than the youngest person that can actually be in office, we all want someone young in office to cater to us because we don't want the same things that the older generations want. But that being said, we also base a lot of our decisions off of emotion, and we don't stop to think logically before we make a lot of decisions. Myself included sometimes, even though I've learned to like work on that. A lot of other people haven't. A lot of other people aren't emotionally intelligent but still use their emotions to make decisions. Like think, like act first, don't think. Like it's horrible. It's like things like that really give a bad name to our generation. But that's a lot of the reason why someone in their 30s, that's why they won't be taken seriously. Someone we think will portray our values or convey our thoughts because they're younger, and then they go and talk to the older generations in office like they need to be talked to. So they need to have a massive skill set in order to market, in order to manage their campaign alongside their team, because it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think there are just a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't see. And this kind of goes along with not being taken seriously and being too young and saying things simply just like for the press rather than doing what you're going to say. So the subtopic of this video, aside from the main topic, is why complaining on social media does nothing. But social media, as much as we think it has like a big part in swaying what what politicians do and what bills get passed, it has nothing to do with it at all. It matters what you do in the real world. Now, social media can influence real world actions, yes, but it can't influence people directly. It's more so the fact that social media is used by the younger generations. If you looked up your down the street neighbor who's like in his 40s or 50s or her 40s or 50s, you won't really see much from her on social media, depending on what kind of person she is. But if you really think about it, it doesn't even matter what you're doing on social media after you're like out of college, because no one's using it. No one cares anymore. Everyone's just trying to make money to live. It's one of those things. Social media seems so big to us when we're in school, and then it just loses its importance. Just snap. All of the importance of it is just gone because you're not networking, especially if you're just trying to make money and live your life, live a quiet life, build a family. You're not like trying to ruthlessly network with anybody. Social media is used mostly for networking or paying your way through into certain communities, and then trying to hype, a fan base up, build the atmosphere around your content, and like who you want to be seen with, the image that you promote. But in reality, it doesn't matter because no one sees what's going on outside of social media. You can't actually comprehend and connect the digital image of that person to the person that they really are outside of the screen. It's impossible because they could be doing something completely different. And even if they're not doing something completely different, it's just hard to do because there are so many different intricacies to how they work, to how they act, to how they speak, to how they live. Especially if they paint their life as clean on social media, they could be living in a pigsty. You literally have no idea. And it's the same for politics. Like a lot of the politicians of the world, they're on social media for the press. They're not on there. Think all of their captions are parasocial. They'll post about an organization that they are with. They'll post about a group of people that they recently donated to, because a lot of these politicians are also philanthropists. But what does that really do for you? That just lets you know. And then how they're speaking to you in the captions, how they're speaking to you in the video, they're addressing it as you all, but making you think that it's a personal issue between you and them, right? It's all about how you present yourself. It's all about how you speak to the public. It's all about how you speak to the people in charge, which is why someone younger will not be taken seriously unless they have a crazy ass skill set. So yeah, that's kind of like my whole rant about, this is how I think of politics, at least, right? Like I don't think about politics much. I'm legally allowed to vote, but I think I'll be making a decision that helps me. Obviously, everyone goes into it researching the politician that they think will project their interest the most, but the way I think about it is, like, when they get into office, they could really do anything. They could say that they project your thoughts and they're gonna get things done like you want them to be done, but at the end of the day, when they're in office, they are a completely different person, and there are things going on behind the scenes that we do not see. So yeah, in a way, it's a bit of like a nihilistic view on politics, like, why does it even matter? But in the end, it does matter, because we need somebody to run the country. Therefore, there has to be a ballot, there has to be a vote. Anyway, I think that's gonna conclude the video for today. Have an amazing day, amazing night, amazing afternoon, wherever you are. Whatever you're going through, I hope that I could take a little bit of your stress off, just a little bit, just to talk on here. And in case you feel the same, in case you have a thought that you want to contradict my topic of conversation with, go right ahead. Just comment down below, and I'm willing to start a discussion with anybody. So just remember to like, subscribe, and definitely comment how you feel, what you think about this video, because your support and your feedback means everything to me, okay? And I do listen, I do look, because not much is happening here yet, alright? Now, there's some traction here and there, but, alright. You are heard, you are seen, you are respected. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.